This is Tony T here from Tony'sPicks.com with our college football pick show here. Week 14, part 2. We got 15 games from Saturday. We're doing all these in parts. There's 69 games scheduled here, so we're going to get it done for you by Friday night. We'll have all the games set for you. Of course, we'll have them set for you. Make sure you like, subscribe to our channel for more free pick videos. Subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking for my best bets, my pre and plays, click that link in the description. That'll take you to my page here at Tony'sPicks.com. Let's get this one started. Kansas and Baylor college football pick this one here on Saturday. Kansas improved to 5-6 with their 37-21 home win to Colorado. The Jayhawks gained 520 yards, 331 rushing for 5.8 yards a carry. On defense, they held the Buffs at 308 yards, 42 rushing for 3.2 yards a carry. Jalen Daniels here, 14-21 passing for 189 yards with a touchdown. He rushed for 72 yards in the game. Baylor 7-4 after a 20-10 road win at Houston. The Bears produced 325 yards, 121 rushing for 2.5 yards a carry. Defensively, they held the Cougars at 239 yards, 147 passing on 25 attempts. Sawyer Robertson, 15-23 passing for 204 yards with 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Kansas defense in good form as in their past 3 games, allowing 4 yards per rush with 23 points a game. Baylor's defense also in good form by allowing 26 points per game, 59% completion rate. The pick here will be Kansas and Baylor under 61.5. All right, we got Louisville and Baylor here for Saturdays. Louisville and Kentucky for Saturday. Louisville now 7-4 with a 37-9 home win to Pittsburgh. The Cardinals gained 505 yards, 212 rushing for 4.7 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 265 yards to the Panthers with 190 passing on 35 attempts. Tyler Shaw, 17-28 passing for 293 yards with 2 touchdowns. Kentucky moved to 4-7, a 31-14 road defeat in Texas. The Wildcats put up 232 yards, 21 rushing on 30 attempts. Defensively, they allowed 441 yards to the Longhorns with 250 rushing for 5.3 yards per rush. Brock Vandegrift, 3 of 7 passing for 51 yards and a touchdown and a pick. Freshman Cutter Broley saw action, 10 of 18, 160 yards and an interception. Cardinals on the road are completing 62% of their passes. Kentucky defense at home limits opponents to 14 points per game with 3.9 yards per rush. Louisville is 111 the spread as a road favorite. Play here, Kentucky plus 3.5. All right, next up we have Louisiana and UL Monroe. Louisiana 9-2 with their 51-30 home win to Troy here. The Raging Cajuns gained 418 yards, 95 rushing for 3 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 294 yards to the Trojans with 135 rushing for 4 yards a carry. Chandler Fields 18-24 passing for 323 yards and 2 touchdowns. UL Monroe 5-6, a 28-21 road defeat to Arkansas State. The Warhawks put up 393 yards, 256 rushing for 6.7 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 357 yards to the Red Wolves with 187 rushing for 4.8 yards a carry. Aiden Armenta, 11-27 passing for 137 yards with a touchdown and pick. He rushed for 52 yards. UL Monroe is 1 win away from bowl eligibility. Louisiana on the road allows 4.7 yards per rush, 68% completion rate. The Warhawks have defended well at home, holding opponents to 19 points per game. 56% completion rate. They have covered 4 of 5 at home. The pick here, UL Monroe, plus 9. All right, next up we have Eastern Michigan and Western Michigan here. Eastern Michigan 5-6 after their 37-20 home defeat to Buffalo. The Eagles gained 445 yards, 70 rushing for 2.3 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 396 yards to the Bulls with 260 passing on 28 attempts. Cole Snyder, 24-33 passing for 351 yards with 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. Western Michigan 5-6, a 16-14 road defeat at Central Michigan. The Broncos put up 184 yards, 50 rushing for 2 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 307 yards to the Chippewas with 167 rushing for 3.4 yards a carry. Hayden Wolf, 13 of 23 passing for 126 yards. This is the only bowl-eligible game of the week with each team needing a win to get to 6 wins here. 5-6 versus 5-6 here. Western Michigan in the MAC competition, allowing 31 points per game with 4.6 yards per run, 8.7 yards per pass attempt. The Eagles have been able to move the football through the air in conference with 266 yards passing for 6.8 yards per pass attempt. EMU is 5-1 to the spread on the road against losing teams. Pick Eastern Michigan +7. Coastal Carolina and Georgia State college football pick Saturday. Coastal Carolina 5-6 after a 26-6 home defeat to Georgia Southern. The Chanticleers gained 280 yards, 163 rushing for 6.8 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 384 yards to the Eagles with 294 passing yards on 38 attempts. Ethan Vasco 10 of 25 passing for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. Georgia State 3-8 after their 52-44 road win at Texas State. The Panthers put up 504 yards, 219 rushing for 5.1 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 459 yards to the Bobcats with 302 passing yards on 44 attempts. It was Zach Gibson. He missed the game due to an injury and is questionable here. Christian Velo, 15 of 26 passing for 285 yards with 3 touchdowns. Coastal Carolina 1 win away from bowl eligibility. The Chanticleers defense in their pass per game allowing just 2.5 yards per carry on the ground and 62% completion rate. They're rushing for 4.9 yards a carry in this period. The Panthers are in poor defensive form over the past 3 games, allowing 36 points per game, 5.1 yards per run, 7 yards per pass attempt. Georgia State has failed to cover 5 of 6 in conference play here. Coastal Carolina +1. Middle Tennessee State and FIU for Saturday. MTSU now 3-8 after a 36-21 home defeat here to New Mexico State. The Blue Raiders put up 447 yards, 170 rushing for 6.1 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 382 yards to the Aggies with 145 rushing for 4 yards a carry. Nicholas Vitadio, 30 of 45 passes for 277 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. FIU now 3-8, a 27-26 road defeat at Kennesaw State. The Panthers put up 400 yards, 196 rushing here for 5 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 358 yards to the Owls with 172 rushing for 4.5 yards a carry. Keon Jenkins, 12 of 22 passing for 204 yards with 3 touchdowns and a pick. FIU at home has struggled on the ground with quarterback accuracy. The Blue Raiders have an experienced quarterback and have thrown for 287 yards, 7.9 yards per pass attempt against Conference USA. FIU 1-4 the spread as a home favorite. The pick here will be on Middle Tennessee State plus the 8.5. South Florida and Rice for Saturday. USF improved to 6-5 after their 63-30 home win at Tulsa. The Bulls gained 715 yards, 308 rushing for 5.9 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 478 yards to the Golden Hurricane with 255 passing on 34 attempts. Bryce Archie, 21 of 31 passing for 305 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game. And pick yet. He rushed for 40 yards and score. Rice now 40-14. Rice here falls 40-14 on the road to UAB. The Owls put up 237 yards, 115 rushing for 4.6 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 364 yards to the Blazers with 190 rushing for 5.6 yards a carry. E.J. Warner, 28 of 49 passing for 222 yards with a touchdown and 3 picks. USF has struggled on the road this year, allowing 30 points per game with 283 yards passing, 8.3 yards per pass attempt. Their passing game has been inaccurate and inefficient on the highway. Rice defense in their past 3 games allowed 26 points per game with only 56% completion rate for 6 yards per pass attempt. At home, the Owls passed for 254 yards, 63% completion rate. USF 1-4 the spread on the road, facing a team that averaged 4.7 yards per rush or greater. The Owls 7-1 the spread as home underdog. Play here, Rice plus the 5. Next up, Southern Miss and Troy for Saturday. Southern Miss 1-10, a 35-14 home defeat to South Alabama. The Golden Eagles gained 306 yards, 169 rushing for 3.9 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 380 yards to the Jaguars, with 187 rushing for 6.9 yards a carry. Tate Rodemaker, 15 of 27 passing for 108 yards and a touchdown. Troy sits at 3-8, a 51-30 road defeat at Louisiana. The Trojans posted 343 yards, 135 rushing for 4 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 418 yards to the Raging Cajuns, with 323 passing on 24 attempts. Matthew Caldwell, 26 of 42 passing for 230 yards with 4 touchdowns and 2 picks. Southern Miss has failed to cover 4 of 5 on the road as they average 9.2 points per game behind poor rushing and passing offense. Defensively on the road, they surrendered 41 points per game as they get 6.1 yards per rush, 10.5 yards per pass attempt. The Trojans over their past 3 games put up 32 points a game, nearly 5 yards to carry on the ground, 67% completion rate for nearly 8 yards per pass attempt. Golden Eagles have a -18 turnover margin. The Trojans 3-1 of the spread at home against a team that allows 8 yards per pass attempt or greater. Pick here Troy -17.5. Boston College and Pittsburgh College football pick. This one here on Saturday. All right, we've got Pitt here 7-4 after a 37-9 road defeat to Louisville. The Panthers gained just 265 yards, 75 rushing for 2.8 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 505 yards to the Cardinals with 293 passing yards on 28 attempts. Eli Holstein questionable with that ankle injury. Nate Yarnell in relief, 11 of 23 passing for 96 yards with a touchdown and a pick. Boston College 6-5 after their 41-21 home win to North Carolina. The Eagles produced 420 yards, 228 rushing for 4.4 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 212 yards to the Tar Heels with 36 rushing yards on 25 carries. Grayson James went 18 of 27 passing for 192 yards with a touchdown. He rushed for 38 yards and a score. Eagles showed improvement with the quarterback change under James. BC has defended well at home, allowing 2.8 yards per rush, 59% completion rate. They have put up 34 points per game at home behind a really good run game and efficient with their passing. The injury to Holstein, a massive concern for Pitt. Play here at Boston College here at -4.5. All right, we got Old Dominion here and Arkansas State for Saturday. Old Dominion here, 4-7 after a 42-35 home defeat to Marshall. The Monarchs gained 513 yards, 286 rushing for 6.2 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 469 yards to the Thundering Herd, with 259 rushing for 6.2 yards a carry. Colton Joseph, 19 of 31 passing for 227 yards with a touchdown and pick. He rushed for 158 yards and 2 scores. Arkansas State 7-4 with their 28-21 home win to UL Monroe. The Red Wolves put up 357 yards, 187 rushing for 4.8 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 363 yards to the Warhawks, with 256 rushing for 6.7 yards a carry. Jalen Rayner, 18 of 26 passing for 170 yards and 3 touchdowns. Old Dominion's defense in poor form as in their past 3 games, allowing 5.5 yards per rush along with 8.3 yards per pass attempt. They have struggled with accuracy at the quarterback position now on the road. The Red Wolves in this 3-game span have rushed for 219 yards a game, 5.2 yards per pass attempt with accuracy from the quarterback position. The Red Wolves are 2-0 the spread at home against a team with a 250-400 win percentage. The Monarchs 0-8 to the spread when favored. The pick here will be on Arkansas State +4. All right, we got NC State and North Carolina here for Saturday. NC State 5-6 with their 30-29 road defeat at Georgia Tech. The Wolfpack put up 400 yards, 253 rushing for 8.7 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 391 yards to the Yellow Jackets with 272 passing yards on 36 attempts. C.J. Bailey, 17-30 passing for 147 yards, 3 interceptions. He rushed for 83 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game. North Carolina 6-5 with their 41-21 road defeat at Boston College. The Tar Heels put up 212 yards, 36 rushing on 25 attempts. Defensively, they allowed 420 yards to the Eagles with 228 rushing for 4.4 yards a carry. Jacoby Griswold, 16-30 passing for 176 yards and 3 touchdowns. NC State on the road, allowing 41 points per game, 5.3 yards per rush, and 255 yards passing for 7.5 yards per pass attempt. The Tar Heels in their past 3 games averaging 29 points per game, 7.5 yards per pass attempt. North Carolina's defense in this period holding opponents to 25 points per game, 3.4 yards per rush. NC State 2-6 to the spread on the road against a winning team. Play here will be on North Carolina -3.5. All right, Central Michigan and Northern Illinois for Saturday. We've got Central Michigan 4-7 with their 16-14 home win at Western Michigan. The Chippewas gained 307 yards, 167 rushing for 3.4 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 184 yards to the Broncos with 50 rushing yards for 2 yards a carry. Jaden Glasser, 8-17 passing for 140 yards on a pick. Northern Illinois 6-5, a 20-9 road defeat at Miami, Ohio. The Huskies put up 232 yards, 128 rushing for 3.2 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 324 yards to the Redhawks with 237 passing yards on 24 attempts. Ethan Hampton, 10-25 passing for 70 yards. The Huskies and MAC play have struggled offensively as they put up 21 points per game with inaccurate and inefficient quarterback play in their past 3 games. The Chippewas are holding opponents to 25 points per game, only 6 yards per pass attempt. NIU has failed to cover 3 of 4 at home. They are 2-11 to the spread at home as a favorite. The pick here, Central Michigan, +12.5. Miami and Syracuse college football pick Saturday. Miami now 10-1 with their 42-14 home win at Wake Forest. The Hurricanes gained 508 yards, 228 rushing for 7.1 yards a carry. On defense, they held the Demon Deacons to 183 yards with 99 passing on 17 attempts. Cam Ward, 27-38 passing for 280 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. He rushed for a touchdown in the game. Syracuse 8-3 with their 31-24 home win at Connecticut. The Orange put up 538 yards, 68 rushing for 2.1 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 352 yards to the Huskies with 228 passing yards on 48 attempts. Combo cord here, 37-47 passing for 470 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Orange in their past 3 games throwing for 395 yards a game, 8.4 yards per pass attempt. In this period, they hold opponents to 59% completion rate, 5.5 yards per pass attempt. Miami in their road games allowing 7.3 yards per pass attempt. The Hurricanes 4-7 the spread on the road against the conference. To play here, Syracuse +10.5. All right, next up we have UAB and Charlotte for Saturday. UAB now 3-8 after a 40-14 home win at Rice. The Blazers gained 364 yards, 190 rushing for 5.6 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 337 yards to the Owls with 222 yards passing on 49 attempts. It was Jalen Kitna, 18-23 passing for 174 yards with 2 touchdowns. Charlotte now 4-7 with their 39-27 road win at FAU. The 49ers put up 442 yards, 46 rush for 1.9 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 458 yards to the Owls with 279 rushing yards for 5.6 yards a carry. Deshaun Purdy, 16-30 passing for 396 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Charlotte form poor right now as in their past 3 games, allowing 40 points per game, 6.3 yards per rush, 7.5 yards per pass attempt. In this period, they're running for 3.2 yards a carry, 44% completion rate. Kidna has passed for a total of 652 yards in his past 2 games for an injured Zeno. The backup has shown improvement since the called into action several weeks ago. 49ers 1-4 the spread at home. Play here will be UAB at +3. All right, next up we have Rutgers and Michigan State for action on Saturday. Rutgers 6-5 with their 38-31 home defeat to Illinois. The Scarlet Knights gained 387 yards, 213 rushing for 4.7 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 431 yards to the Fighting Illini with 249 passing on 26 attempts. Ethan Kalkmanis, 18 of 36 passing for 174 yards with 2 touchdowns. He rushed for 84 yards and 2 scores. Michigan State now 5-6, a 24-17 home win to Purdue. The Spartans posted 293 yards, 134 rushing for 3.5 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 339 yards to the Boilermakers with -4 rushing on 19 attempts. It was Aiden Childs, 15 of 31 passing for 159 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rutgers on the road has rushed for 3 yards a carry and getting inaccurate quarterback play. They allow 4.6 yards per run on the road. Michigan State is 1 win away from bowl eligibility. The Spartans have defended the run well on the road and passed for 7.2 yards per pass attempt. Pick here, Michigan State, -1.5. For more free pick videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you're looking for my best bets, my pre and plays, click the link in the description. That'll take to my page here at Tony'sPicks.com. And if you like this video, give us a like, a thumbs up. You really help our channel. I'm Tony T. We'll talk with you later.